It really does taste delicious. The vegetables add another layer of flavor, but you don't need the vegetables. Thrifty Recipes. Simple recipes with me, Vickie. In case you missed part 1, I announced the challenge. This video is going to be everything Aldi, and my challenge today is put together 3 meals for the week with everything from Aldi for no more than $20 plus tax. We shopped Aldi. Did I do it for $20? Well, no. The total bill came to $25.05 plus tax, but I am getting more than 3 meals, and this is part 2. In part 1, we made a breakfast quesadilla. It's time to eat these quesadillas, and I'll see you at dinner. Let's recap the Aldi shopping for today's dinner, where we're going to make bowtie pasta and spaghetti sauce with Italian meatballs. Love these meatballs. They are $4.19, but along with spaghetti or something, they could also be meatball sandwiches. Mild sausage, $3.49. Guess that's what it has to be. Meatballs have to go back. Every little bit helps. This is the cheapest pasta of anything I can find here. It's $1.59. Little bow tie. We really like the meat sauce, and it's $1.39. Fire roasted diced tomatoes, love them, 22 cents. And an 8-count bag of large tortillas for $1.95. I have a pack of these at home. I might throw one in because I need to use them up. They're $1.35 for a 3-pack. You'll need a large skillet to make the spaghetti sauce, a large pot to cook it's not really spaghetti, it's bow ties, and a strainer, and a scoop to make a few meatballs, some nonstick spray, olive oil, some seasonings, got parsley flakes, extra garlic powder, fire roasted diced tomatoes, and I have some onion in the freezer that I'll be getting out. Getting set up here to make dinner. And I have some ground mild Italian sausage, which I'm going to split out into a couple of meals. And tortillas. Why tortillas? Well, I'll show you. You know what? While I'm here, I'm going to get some wet minced garlic. A staple. Well, here's one advantage of not going out for dinner. You don't have to get dressed up. You can wear what you've been wearing all day, except for maybe an apron. Because I am working with spaghetti sauce tonight, so I'm going to put an apron on. Otherwise, just a little bit of lipstick and maybe a little eye makeup. Not much for the camera. I'm good to go. We are having bowtie pasta with a spaghetti sauce, even though we're not putting it on spaghetti. And we're going to make some meatballs, shape some meatballs. I have some tips for the sauce. And what else? Oh yeah, I did have some zucchini and squash in my fridge, which I really need to use up. But at the same time, I thought, well, maybe you have some vegetables in the fridge that need used up, and you might want to do the same thing. We're going to oven roast these. Let me get the camera turned around here and we'll get started. Gotta have the glasses. Well, that's better. I can see you now. The oven at 350. It just got up to temp. I have some water boiling for the pasta. And I don't want to put it in yet, so I'm going to turn that off, but I do like to get it up to temp ahead of time. I have a large skillet that I sprayed with nonstick spray, and we're going to put the sauce in there. And as you know, I have everything laid out here. Let's start with the Italian sausage. A little tip here, I have some wax paper laying on my cutting mat so that after I work with the Italian sausage, I can just roll this up and throw it away. Oh, and I have 2 pans that I've lined with foil. This one's going to be for the meatballs. I'm just making a few meatballs. And this one's going to be for the squash and zucchini. We're going to oven roast it. So those are also here. All right, back to the Italian sausage. You're going to hear the oven running in the background. As I said, it's preheated. So we have to stretch this Italian sausage. You know, I wanted to buy the meatballs, but they were a little more expensive. But I tell you, they're worth it for the convenience. But still, you know, I'm trying to keep the budget as low as possible, and I'm going to try to only use half of this so that I can save the other half for some other things that I have in mind for this week. So let's get half of this out. Imagine there's a paper pad on the back. So let's get half of this out onto my wax paper if I can, carefully. I'll need to get this back in the fridge. Wash my hands again, because I wash my hands constantly. If I had bought the meatballs, they would have been about 1 inch big. So I have this scoop that I think is about 1 inches, and I'm going to try to make some meatballs here. I'm just gonna press it down, and I have to get the fingers messy here. Maybe I should just divide this into 6 meatballs, because I think that's what we're gonna end up with. Even though it was 16 ounces or 1 pound for the meatballs or 1 pound for the ground sausage, the meatballs felt heavier. I don't know, maybe they had some filler in it. I don't know, but so 1 meatball down and a foil lined pan with some nonstick spray. It won't take very long for these, so let me keep doing that. Two down. I know 3 meatballs doesn't seem like very much, 3 meatballs per person, but after I already put that back in the fridge, I just remembered that I'm going to use part of it, a small part of it, what's left over, in the sauce. 4. So I need to get that back out. And I just covered it with plastic wrap and put it in there. I think my meatballs are getting bigger. I think I better go back and add to those first couple of meatballs. Heck, I don't even need the scoop now. Or maybe I do. One's kind of cattywampus. They're definitely getting bigger. Maybe the other meatballs do have some more filler. Maybe it's not just the sausage in a ball. I don't know, but I know this. My hands are messy, so I keep lots of paper towel around and roll this up so that my cutting mat is still clean. I'll throw this away, wash my hands, and be right back. There's the 6 meatballs. Space them a little bit apart. That one's one of the first ones. It's still pretty small. They go into the oven, whether you buy them as ready-made meatballs or make your own to save a few pennies. It is 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. But I'm not going to put these in yet because I want to put the zucchini and squash in at the same time. So I'm going to set this aside. These are washed, kind of patted them dry, and I'm just going to cut the ends off. Get rid of that. And next, just slice it in half lengthwise. And we are going to cut half slices, about a 1/2 inch wide. I'm hoping it times out good with the meatballs. I was only going to do 1 of the zucchini, but the fact is, I don't think I'm going to be cooking with this the rest of the week. And if I have some left over, that's fine. We can eat that with another meal. But I didn't want to let it sit in the fridge and go bad. So it's going to be a little more challenging to cut. I'm sorry if my elbows in the camera. I am right-handed, and it's nearly impossible to put the camera on the stovetop right now. So I kind of had to put it over there. But I'll show you. I'll make sure you see everything that I'm doing. Same thing here. This one's pretty good size. It's pretty wide, but I'm going to cut about a 1/2 inch. Do you like zucchini and squash? I know I do. I like it sauteed. I like it oven roasted. I like it with onion. You know, we like our onion. Let's get these on the sheet pan. As I said, it's already lined with foil, and I sprayed it with nonstick spray. That is a ton of vegetables. These are so big, I almost feel like I should cut them in half again. I don't know, I think I might, because I don't want them to take longer than the zucchini. And you really never know how long it's going to take on some of these things. On the vegetables anyway. I mean, I'm guessing 25 minutes. First thing is some olive oil. I'm just going to drizzle it over everything. You could do this in a bag or a bowl, or you can just put it on here and get your hands messy again. Try to cover all the sides with a little bit of olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, vegetable oil is fine, but I really like olive oil. Okay, you do want to get these to where they are a single layer, that nothing is stacked on top of the other. In fact, I'm going to try to turn most of them on their side so they'll cook evenly. And I will stir these from time to time. I think I've got it. And I have some hands full of oil too. That's what cooking is all about. Some salt, coarse salt. It's better than the fine salt. Put some on my hand here. I don't know if you can see how coarse that is. Try to spread it evenly. Ground pepper, fresh ground pepper. To your taste. And I forgot one ingredient, and it's in the cupboard behind you, so excuse me just a minute, please. Thank you. I wanted to get to the Italian seasoning. Let's add some here. What is in Italian seasoning anyway? Marjoram, thyme, basil, rosemary, savory, whatever that is, and oregano. And I'm going to add some garlic powder. A little bit of garlic doesn't hurt. All right, these are ready to go into the oven. After about 15 minutes, I will stir these a little bit, and the meatballs are going in the oven too. We'll see how I do on the timing, if they both time out at the same time. That would be great. It'll be interesting to see if I can time everything out at the same time, but can I do that? I've got 25 minutes to make the sauce and get the bow tie pasta cooked. Of course, 25 minutes should be long enough for that, so I better get back to work. I said I was going to make the sauce in this large pan, flavored with meat sauce. It's really good. Oh, wait, I forgot the Italian sausage. How soon I forget, right? I said I wanted to put half of this in the sauce. Just half, because I am trying to save part of this for another meal this week. I just thought the Italian sausage would boost the flavor in the sauce, since we don't have but 6 meatballs, between us. But I'm going to open up this jar of the Aldi brand of meat sauce, flavored with meat sauce. It's really good. So I have the burner at 5.5 to get that going here, and break this up and cook it. And then I'll be adding the spaghetti sauce, ready-made, and the diced tomatoes, and whatever else I decide to throw in. This is the pasta, the bow tie pasta. I am sure this is enough for 2 or 3 meals for us, probably. But I'm going to go ahead and cook it all, and I will save it afterwards. I'm not going to mix everything together. I will save this separately, and I'll show you how I do that so that it doesn't all stick together. I did tell you I was going to make something with this tortilla with our Italian dinner. I know that doesn't seem like something you'd put together, but we don't have any bread. I didn't have any money to buy garlic bread or to buy the loaf of sourdough bread that I wanted to, so I'm going to make use of this quesadilla. So we're going to work with that one. It's time to use some of those staples. I have some butter in a bowl. I can hear my sausage starting. I'm going to melt this in the microwave for a few seconds. I didn't melt it all the way, but enough. And I'm going to add to this a little bit of olive oil, just a little bit. I don't know, maybe a teaspoon. Break up the sausage over here. This is the smallest amount of meat I've ever put in this pan. I'll take a peek, put the light on, take a peek at the meatballs and veggies. The thing is, the meatballs are at 350. The vegetables really should be at about 400. So I imagine I might be cooking those a little bit longer. It still needs to cook for a little bit. So I have the butter and a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to put garlic powder and some Italian seasoning and some parsley flakes. I'm just winging it. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Oh, back to the sausage. I need to get this to brown up. I better get my pasta back up to temp. I'm a little off schedule on my timing right now. But you know what? We're not having company, so it doesn't really matter what time we eat. And whenever I try something new, like this tonight, well, you just kind of have to go with the flow and wing it. I think that's about done. I turned the burner off. I'm just going to use the knife to stir this up. I have another foil-lined pan. Yes, I like to work with foil because it makes cleanup so easy. I'm putting the tortilla in there. I'm going to pour this on top. Multitasking, that's what it's all about. To turn these meatballs over. You know, they look like the pre-made ones. And I really need to stir the vegetables, and that is such a huge tray. I want to get it all the way, because I want to make sure every spot is covered. I just remembered I wanted to cut these into pieces, so I took it back out of the pan for now, and I'm just going to cut this in pieces. It's necessary that I cut this because otherwise it will curl up into one big ball, and we don't want that. So I'm making chips. All right, back into the pan they go. This way they can curl up on their own and not be a puff in the center. At least that's the goal. I put the fire roasted diced tomatoes in so that it would help deglaze it, and it did. And the reason I like the fire roasted tomatoes, well, 2 reasons. One is it helps extend the spaghetti sauce, and 2, it is absolutely delicious. It just takes the jarred spaghetti sauce to a whole nother level. This is good sauce though, even by itself. It's really good. And I'm not going to waste any of it. I'll put a little bit of water in that jar, just a little bit, with every drop out. Because you know, that's money in there. My pasta water is boiling. I need to get this in. I know I've tried a couple of times and thought I was too soon. Put a little bit of oil in there, never too late. Maybe some salt. Just have to set the timer. It says 11 to 13 minutes. I always keep a couple of timers handy. I'm going to check it at 11. Sauce is simmering away. Better turn that down. Check on those meatballs again. Now, how do you know if they're done? They're supposed to be a certain temperature in the center. What is that temperature? I forget. 165? Yeah, the meatballs are done. I really recommend having a meat probe, temperature probe, rather than guess. I'm going to set this to the side and kick up the zucchini. Decided I'm going to add a spoon of garlic. I thought about putting onion into, I don't know, I may not. I have it on a low temperature. I do like to give it a little stir, try to keep it from sticking to the bottom. And hopefully you have a pasta spoon. I use this spoon for a lot of things. I'm really not a pasta person or noodle person. I like angel hair pasta, I guess the best. I like thin spaghetti, but as you know, it's the cheapest thing I could find. So let's give this sauce a little stir. I did turn it off because it's quite hot. It smells really good. It does. And I need to get Mark out here pretty soon to set the table. Set our bar anyway. We sit at the counter when we eat. I moved the meatballs to a bowl, so if I need to warm them up, I can. In fact, I think I'll go ahead and stick them in the microwave because they are done. One of the reasons I like to use foil is easy cleanup. At least I try not to tear it because Mark washes the dishes, don't you, hon?
I am the dishwasher.
So if I can keep it clean, that's a good thing. All right, I turned it up to 425. I'm going to turn this direction. It needs to go into the oven, but I need to move an oven rack up a little bit. I was going to move the rack up, but I was able to fit it to the sides. I have some time. I think that was probably the hardest thing to learn when I was 12 years old and took home ec in junior high school. The hardest thing was learning timing, but I'm glad they taught us that. Plus, of course, I learned from my mom and my grandma, and of course, my mom and Mark would say, you know, Mark says I'm a witch doctor in the kitchen because I always play around with things. And my mom would always tell me, even though she was an excellent cook, she'd always compliment me, I guess, by saying that I always came up with recipes that she had never tried. She would never even think of trying. So that was a compliment. I pulled the garlic toast out. They're getting a little dark. It always gets dark at the back of my oven because it doesn't heat evenly. And they do feel crispy. So it is toast or garlic crackers, I should say. Still waiting on the pasta. Pasta is done. In fact, I'm still chewing it up. Much more tender when you push it to about 14 minutes. So I'll get that drained. That's far more pasta than what we need, but we will hopefully have leftovers. This is cool enough I can just plate it up. Hear that? Yeah, crackers. I don't know if they're edible or not. I might have overbaked them, but they are supposed to be crisp. And again, easy cleanup. The zucchini and squash is done. Sizzling. I'm sure it's good enough. Just gonna set that here. The sauce is ready. Oh, the meatballs. I was going to warm them up for 30 seconds. These just needed warmed up. They were already done. Meatballs. Look, Mark, I made meatballs. I've never made meatballs before.
They look good.
Now it's an assembly line. I hope I don't regret not rinsing this, but I know that when I go to put it away after dinner, I'll just put it in a Ziploc bag with some olive oil. I gotta save some room for your meatballs, Mark. Some sauce. Tell me when.
Just a little more. Plenty.
Okay. And meatballs.
Two.
And just two? Because you can have three. Maybe I'll come back for seconds.
Maybe.
And I know the roasted vegetables, the zucchini and squash, was not in my Aldi shopping cart. However, as I said, use up whatever vegetables you have left over. It looks good. Hope it tastes good. I think it will. Can't forget the sprinkled cheese, as Mark calls it. Time for the truth. What'd you think?
Well, it actually has a similar profile to something that we have occasionally. The Aldi spaghetti sauce and pasta, and the sausage. We usually have the pre-made meatballs. In this case, adding some of the sausage to the sauce was a nice change. Handmade meatballs were just as good as the ones that we get
they were
out of the cooler at Aldi. The bow tie pasta was different. I actually liked it. Oh, adding zucchini and squash was really good. That just added another flavor profile to it. I really enjoyed it. And also the sprinkled cheese. When I was a little kid, I couldn't remember Parmesan, so you sprinkle it out of the can, so I used to call it sprinkled cheese, and I still call it sprinkled cheese.
No, I call it sprinkled cheese. I know you just loved my garlic crisp.
Not exactly.
No, I overbaked them.
I ate 2 of them. I would much prefer our regular garlic bread.
But I did overbake them. It's been years since I've made anything like that, and I overbaked them. So what do you think about the dinner itself?
The overall dinner, that's a solid 5.
Thank you. I thought it was too. It was
Very
really
good.
good. Love the vegetables. If you have any vegetables sitting around, put them on top. You don't have to put them in it, but put them on top and oven roast them. That's what made them so good. Just adding some olive oil to the bag, the leftover pasta. It'll help keep it from sticking. So this is what we have left for another meal. Some oven roasted zucchini and squash shell and spaghetti sauce with 2 meatballs in there. So yes, we're getting 2 meals out of this. That's not too bad. It really does taste delicious. The vegetables add another layer of flavor, but you don't need the vegetables. You just make the sauce like I showed you, and the meatballs taste just like the ones that we buy ready-made. But I save a little bit of money, have some fun, and I still have some Italian sausage left over for another recipe. Be sure to subscribe and watch for part 3, where I make breakfast omelets. And what's for dinner? Well, I'm not sure yet. As far as the toast, I don't know about the toast. Outtakes. Yeah, it's a cracker. Oh, nice flavor. I'm Vickie with Thrifty Recipes, and Mark and I will see you soon. And if you missed part 1, the Aldi shopping haul, check that out too.